I can. All right. Good evening, everybody. I welcome you all to the 76th session of Leaders Are Readers Book Club. I'm Arushi Kapoor, your host for tonight. Now, whenever you're worked up, stressed, angry, or anxious, what is the first suggestion that you get? Relax, reflect on the situation, take some time off, sleep it off. That's the importance of taking a step back and reflecting. And if you come to think of it, the various things in life which are enjoyable and give the greatest benefits are all based on this concept of reflection. Be it traveling, which gives you perspective, be it meditation, which is about self-reflection, or just leisurely sitting by a fireplace or by a flowing river, ruminating, thinking, reflecting, or musing. It's all the same, and that often leads to solutions and success, which you cannot reach often when you're going on in a loop. So often, it is best to take a step back and reflect or muse. Celebrating musing is the theme for today. Now, I would like to introduce you to the timer and listener for today's meeting, which is Gauri Dixit. A little bit about her. Don't judge a book by a cover is her life theory. Gauri Dixit is a great listener and loves to interact with people. She calls herself a corporate slave, but also loves her work because she gets to interact with new people every day. She believes in the society's traditional values and respects them. Among her friends, she's called the agony aunt because she's a great advisor. Also, the life quote that she stands by is be the change you wish for. I totally agree with you on that, Gauri. That's such an amazing quote that you live by. With that, I'm now going to introduce to you the book reviewer for today's session. Today's book reviewer is Shefali. She's an engineer by profession and has a passion for writing. She has been writing poems and stories since she was a little girl, and thus she decided to give a direction to her passion, and she wrote a book titled Dare, Dream, Travel, which is an anthology of travel stories which got launched this week and has been endorsed by the CEO magazine. Her previous work, The Infinite Road, won her several accolades, such as the Best Debutante Fiction Award and Most Promising Author Award. It also got featured among the top 10 books to read in September 2021 by Outlook India. Besides, several media portals and in literature fests have highlighted her work. Her other works include a book on haikus and short poems called A Paradise of Thoughts. She juggles between being a lecturer, traveler, musician, reader, and writer. Wow, I I was super impressed just introducing you, Shefali. Wonderful. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Arushi, for this lovely introduction. And hello, everyone. So, today, the book that I am going to review is the one that is written by our keynote speaker, Kanika Sharma, that is Memoirs. So I had this opportunity to read this beautiful book, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you why you should pick up this book. So, memoirs is something which the author says that is very close to her heart. And when you read the book, you get to know, you get that feeling that yes, it is something she is really connected to. So, the book Memoirs is, it consists of a number of sections. It has been divided into a number of parts where there are poems, there is fiction, there are some personal experiences or personal insights, I would say, or musings of the author. And at the end, there are some tips regarding that you can utilize in the pandemic era, some insights that she got during these difficult times that she has penned down. So these are the various sections in which the book is divided into. And the takeaways from the book, what I found that after reading the book, first of all, it is a very quick and light read. You would take up the book and you would you'll delve deep into it, but yes, you will not want to leave the book. You'll finish it very quickly. So the second thing is that the book has been written beautifully. So whatever thoughts the author has penned down, Kanika has penned down, they are something that comes straight from her heart. So like when I read her poems, they were very relatable. I really loved the piece on J.K. Rowling because I'm a Potterhead, so I could feel that she too, loves Harry Potter, and that's something that was a connection there. And if you come to the fiction part, there are some beautiful stories like the Vetal. It was a little that was like from different diverse backgrounds, I would say. It was catering to the stories were catering to. So like the Vetal, it was a little terrifying one when there was the promise, which was really got me emotional, really got me deep into the story. And the one which was about Pugly, which reflects the thought process of a society and how vulnerable we are, how our thought process change. That is something that story I really loved, because the way she had portrayed it, it would connect you very deeply with that character Pugly. And besides the letter to my future daughter, that was something I could really relate to, because when you would read it, you would connect to many parts of it. And when you come to the next part, that is the insights that she has given about from the COVID era. So that is something you would feel that yes, it's very relevant to today's times. So overall, I would say a very beautiful book written down in a very amazing manner. Something you would definitely, it would leave an impact on your mind when you close that when you end the chapters. So I would recommend you all to pick the book. It's available on Amazon, and just go ahead and read the book. And well done, Kanika.
Wow, that's really impressive. I think I'm going to grab hold of a copy and give it a read for sure. Um, Now that we have Shifali review Kanika's book, it's time to actually call the keynote speaker on stage. But before that, I would like to introduce her to all of you. Kanika is an HR professional by the day, an author by the night. Kanika is a pass out of the prestigious Sri Ram College of Commerce. She's also the best-selling author of Bikram and Vittal and Memoirs, which of course Shefali just reviewed. And this is a global Kindle bestseller. Further, she has co-authored 5 bestseller anthologies of different genres, and few of her anthologies are in the pipeline, including the Global Project. She's been featured twice on All India Radio and other platforms like Delhi Poetry Slam, The Ink Magazine, Inspire, Bindas Befikre, a board of artists. She's also book reviewer with the platforms like Half Baked Beans and Delhi Poetry Slam. Kanika, I introduce you to the virtual stage and very happy to have you here today. You're on mute, Kanika.
thank you, Arushi, for this lovely introduction, and thank you, Shipali, for such a beautiful and heartfelt review of memoirs. That was such an honest review. And before moving on, I would just like to say that it's been now, exactly a year that I've been associated with South Delhi Toastmasters Club, and I have been, part of these meetings in various form, being a timer, anchor, and it's my second time as a keynote speaker. Exactly 1 year ago in September, my first book was, launched, Vikram and Vittal, and I was there to, as a keynote to promote that particular book. And today, exactly after a year, I'm again here to talk about musings and memoirs. Okay, so it really does feel great to be part of such a prestigious and enthusiastic platform. Now, before I go ahead and you know start this, I would like my audience to be very very engaging. I would like you all to please be participative with this because the it's not kind of a monologue. The whole essence of the session lies in participation from you guys. So if I would appreciate if I ask something, you guys please either raise your hand or unmute yourself to speak. That would be really helpful to carry on this session. uh so yeah, how many of you actually like to read? Okay, I'm sure that there are other people as well not able to see the entire screen, so maybe I can hear some voices. Okay, so before that, are we aware of the topic of today? Like, what's the topic for today? What is the title of the topic? Anyone?
Celebrating musings.
Celebrating music. Okay, and then the punchline sort of says that from musings to poems. Okay, so let's just sort of bifurcate what these two words are. What is a musing and what is a poem? Can anybody give me? You can give me even the dictionary meaning of musings. Anyone? Dictionary meaning of musings. Please unmute yourself and I'm sure people here know the dictionary meaning of musings.
We have Azad, we have Pandi.
A period
Sorry?
of thought. A period of thought.
Thought. Okay. Very rightly said, Azad. So dictionary meaning is in fact, thought, reflection, thinking. All that is what musing is. The verb. Now, when I say a poem, so musings to poem. Now, poem is something which is fluid, which is, which explains the essence of anything in a very brief and, fluid manner. That's what a poem is. Now, what is the relation between the two? When I say musings to poem or celebrating musings, why is it important to celebrate music? Now, the best analogy for this would be, if I have to ask any one of you, what is the best comparison that comes to your mind when I talk of poems or poems, and I have to compare it with some natural element of the planet? Natural element being sun, star, moon, water, river. What would you compare? What is the best quality that you can associate poem to all these things of nature?
There is not a comparison. I would rather say that there is a, similarity between the two.
Yes.
Both are very beautiful, nature and poems.
What I'm asking Azad is, what is the best out of, let's say, a sun, moon, stars, land, a river? What is the best out of these that you say is the closest to a poem? Is poem similar to a sun, moon, star, river? What is the best adjective? You would have to compare it to a thing of nature.
In my opinion, it will be water.
River.
Water or river.
Why, Pandi? Very, very right. Both of you, Abu and Pandi. Why river? Why water?
Pandit, do you want to go first?
Yeah. River is continuously flows. It means it's not stagnant at one point.
Beautiful.
It's
Beautiful. The quality of foam is its fluidity. Okay. The best analogy would be river. Now, when I say river, so what is the source of a river called? Can anyone? What is the geographical term for it?
origin.
Yeah. Let's say if
Origin.
Ganga is a river, what is the source of Ganga?
Gangotri.
No.
So Himalaya, I can
Gangotri
say
is
mountain.
tributary. Gangotri is a tributary. The source of the river.
Height, you can say height, the peak, from the peak it flows.
No. So the technical term for
Glacier.
water is a glacier, yes, or it's also called the headwaters, because not always the origin of river is a glacier. It could be a lake, ocean, sea, anything. So it's called the headwaters. In case of Ganga, it's called Bhagir. Okay, so that's the origin of Ganga. Now coming on to foam, and what I'm trying to say is, if foam is a river, then you have to understand that its head source or its headwater or its, the mouth of a foam is music. That is where essentially creativity is created in your thoughts, in your mind, in your brain. When you muse, when you think about something, and then whatever shape that creativity takes, it can take a shape of a prose, it can take a shape of a poem, it can take a shape of anything. But essentially, the source of it is your music, and hence celebrating music. Okay. So now that I've talked about a brief what this session is going to about, let me ask you guys, how many of you like to read something, like a prose or a short quote or a poem on social media, or hear it on YouTube or something? Do we have people who do that? Do we have people here? Anyone who likes to read, who follows such pages on social media, poems, poetry, quotes?
I love Urdu poetry. So I love, any kind of Urdu poetry is something that's one of my favorites.
Great. So Abu, has this thought ever occurred to you that, oh, I wish I could also, write like Gulzar Saab, or maybe Rumi, or maybe Faiz, or, I wish I could?
That's a dream, but I'm sure, the way they have, at times you would never ever think of comparing yourself with anything called Gulzar or something. But yes, obviously, it will be a dream. There will be no comparison. But yes, the thought will always be there that if I could produce something like that, my only thought is like, what they have said and done, like say hundreds and 200, 300, 500 years ago, it's still applicable on 9th September to 2021 or 7th September 2021. That's the most amazing thing.
And it will be, applicable in 2021 also. So that's something the magic of poetry is. And today's session is exactly for those people who wish, or who want to know, okay, what is it that is there in them and that's not with us? Why can't we write? So we are going to explore the reasons, first of all, why most of the people shy away from admitting their own music. And then we're going to go to the second part, which is how everyone can be a poet, or how can you also, dabble with poetry to start with. Okay. So what are the prime reasons that we don't want to write, or we are, afraid of writing or sharing something that we've written amongst, our bunch of friends itself? What is the reason? So, in my opinion, I have struggled, like this has been a personal struggle for me. And in my opinion, there are four major reasons that I usually find which stops people from doing this. The first and foremost thing is time. Okay. A lot of us have a paucity of time. We are working, we have families to manage, and poetry or something creative is something we feel that we should have time. Aram se baith ke, we'll think and we'll then write. Right. So, but now with lockdown, most of us still working from home. A lot of time is saved, at least of the traveling and everything. So I think one problem is taken care of. The second problem that I genuinely feel is a misconception is that I don't have the command over the language. Maybe it's English or Hindi or Urdu, we would feel that, we should not dabble with something unless until we are really sure of the territory. Okay, we really have the good command, but how can I write when, I make common grammatical mistakes? I can't write. So that's not it. Trust me. At least with poetry, where there is no decided order of, grammar or, paraphrasing or anything like that. At least with poetry, don't stop yourself just because you don't know Queen's English, or you are not, Hindi is not at the back of your hand. So whatever language you're comfortable in, and whatever, your understanding of that language is, poetry is very individual. That shouldn't stop you from writing. The third thing that I, really feel stops people from trying out is essentially their own, own fear of being getting judged, or not being able to carry it through, or essentially what would people say about it, what would my friends think of, oh god, he's such a romantic, or she's such a romantic, what a waste of time, do something productive. So this was the fear that used to hold me back for the longest of the time. But it is essentially you who would have to overcome this fear. Nobody can do it for you. And I think, what I would say is, if you have any kind of inhibition of being judged, you can start anonymously. This is the reason that many of the authors, they have pen names and they start with pen names. So you can do that one, and see the response that it gets, see the response that you get from society, from people, who know you, and that would eventually give you the courage to basically come out and, write or recite something in open. Try to be part of open mics, get use of this fear in a gradual process or something like that. Now, let me come on to the part that what are the reasons that we should write, and basically how to write a poem if you are a beginner. So I would request Abu to please play my slides so that I can show you one step by another. Okay.
Is the screen visible?
If you could enlarge it a bit.
Yes,
if
yes.
that's
It's
possible.
visible.
It's not allowing. Oh, okay. Let me just try this. Let me know if this is okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
That's
it's
perfect.
fine. It's fine, Abu.
Yeah. So the reasons to write poetry, a couple of them. Poetry is the most popular art form in the world. It is something that all of us can do. We don't need anything, like even for painting, you need brush, or, for sculpting, you need chisel tools. But painting is, poetry is something you just need your imagination. That's it. Pen, paper, maybe, but it's mainly your imagination. Now, poetry is a great form of therapy. Many of us, we know people who have children of special needs, or we know somebody who's been through a traumatic experience. You know, if you ask them, and if they're taking therapies, most of their therapists would suggest them writing it down, penning their thoughts in whichever form, be it prose or poetry. It is something which is really, really very therapeutic if you are, especially if you are an introvert and you're not able to share your feelings easily. Poetry or writing anything, short quotes or how you're feeling is a great way to vent out, trust me. And in due course of time, poetry does help to eventually overcome our, one of the fears, which was writing skills. It does help to overcome our shyness, our a notion of self-worth, our communication skills, a lot of things it caters to. So I would say these are the one of the reasons that we should really indulge into poetry. And with that, of course, pandemic going on, we all have some amount of leisure time, which earlier was not available. So that's a silver line. Moving on to the next slide. So how to begin with this? Now, first of all, let's choose a topic. Now, topic is the subject that you would want to write about. If you're feeling sad, if you want to address a tragedy that has occurred in your life, if you are feeling, guilty about something, if you have a, anger to vent to, you have to choose a subject. One of the most common subject that is there is essentially love, but it does not have to be romance always. It could be about your sibling, a best friend, uh, maybe one of the parents. So let's say the example that I've used here is a mother's love, because it is something that, you know, most of us may have experienced here, romance or not. Most of us here may have a sibling or not. But mother is something, we all essentially, one common thread, if I have to find, is our love for our mothers, right? So that's there. So the best topic I could think of is mother's love. Now, when you begin, you've decided the topic. Let's say I want to write about my mother. So I would now have to ask certain questions to myself. What do I want to say about my mother? Why is her love so important to me? What has she done for me? So these are the positive things that I would think, what feelings she shows to me when I'm, down, or when I'm affected, or when my mood is affected. So I have to think about those feelings and then pen it down. Moving on to the next slide. Whatever I have written now, I have to review it in form of a finished poem. Now, when I talk of finished poem, it brings me to step 4, which is I have to remember certain things. Now, what do I have to remember? Let me ask you guys, is it essential that a poem has to rhyme? Anyone, quickly. Just
No.
got the news that
No,
15.
no, it's not required.
Okay, it's not. True. In today's time, there is something called contemporary poetry, and it does not have to rhyme. In fact, the best part about poetry is you can choose whether you want to make your entire poem rhyme, or whether you don't want to make any line rhyme, whether you want to make some of the important words rhyme, maybe for a punchier effect or to stress on something. Again, the choice is yours. The best part of the poem is it is as individual as a person's DNA or fingerprint. It is just completely your reflection. Now, the beauty of poetry is that the more and more you get involved, the more and more you get the hang of it. However, you'll have to, and you've now come to a question that what is the difference between prose and poetry? Okay, what is the difference? Can anyone tell me quickly? And again, very quickly.
In prose, mostly the contents are only the past, but there is no imagination in prose. But in the poetry, it is a spontaneous expression of it with imaginations, feelings, such kind of thing.
Pandey, you're right about spontaneity. I wouldn't say that prose does not have any imagination or creativity. Basically, the difference is about spontaneity, fluidity, and brevity. One of the things that we miss is brevity. In prose, you have to write full sentence and explain. For example, there's this line: I buried my father. I buried my father last night. I also buried my heart with it. Now, if I have to write it as a prose, I would say, I went on to bury my father, and it was so unfortunate. I left a piece of my heart also buried there forever. There's so many lines, but in poetry, it's very quick, fluid, and brief. So that's the difference between poetry and, prose. So I hope I'm able to make that clear. Now, but when you're writing poem, be very, very sure that while it is very individualistic, it is the other person is also involved. So, for example, Abu, can you just scroll it a bit so that I can show the points below? Can you just scroll down a bit, Abu? This particular slide itself. Yeah, just slightly more. No. I mean, down. Sorry, I'm not able to. Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. So poetry is not just, it is, while it is individual, there is the other person also involved. For example, if you're writing about your mother, you must be very, sure of the points that how would she feel. You should also think from the other person's perspective. If I'm writing a letter to a society or to my future daughter, I would also think from her point of view that how would she feel reading it? Okay, is it too dark for her or is it too overwhelming for her? So that's the thought that you'd have to put in. Now, coming on to the final part, it is you don't have to stop everywhere, anywhere. It is limitless. You can just once you start, there is no ending. Now, there were quick FAQs that I have already taken up. Rhyming with poetry is not necessary. There are freestyle poetries and there is a lot of things. And difference between prose and poems I've already taken up. Okay, it's the fluidity and the brevity. Now, one homework that I'm giving to those who are interested is what is the difference? What is a prose style poem? Now, I've indicated the difference between the two. Now, what is the prose style poem? Anyone who can, show me an example in the WhatsApp group will get a special gift from me that I will reveal in the gift itself. So to end this, Abu, last slide, and I'll quickly just end the presentation. Is you don't need any musical instrument like for music. You don't need any stone or chisel like you would need for sculpting, except for your pen, paper, and imagination. So keep musing, keep writing, keep celebrating, memoirs and musing. And yeah, that's it.
Can I have a round of applause for Kanika, everyone? Thank you, Kanika. That was rather interesting. And I am a poetry noob, so I really gathered a lot of information from your keynote today.
Thank you.
All right. Now, taking the meeting forward, it's the audience participation round. And can I have people chime in and write in the chat box who'd like to participate? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a few images on my screen, and what I expect the participants to do is not only talk about the image, what you feel or think when you see it, but because today we are discussing poetry, prose, and musings. So I would ask you to take very few seconds to muse and then come up with a phrase, or if possible, some kind of poetry when you look at the image that I present on the screen. All right. So who's the first participant going to be? Abu is the first word. Give me a moment to share my screen and present to you the first picture. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Harushi.
Okay. Abu, since you're the first person, this is your image.
Thank you so much. And if I have to muse on this, as there are two things that always comes to mind the moment I see snowfall and everything is jingle bell, jingle on the way. Okay, that's a very kiddish one, but to see this, I would always say that the beauty of nature comes into picture when it snows. Everything goes white, the white things, and it's as if whenever anything is white, it's like a whiteboard or a white slate, and you can rewrite. So like the way it covers the entire thing. Yesterday, when I was watching one of the documentaries in Russia, it was amazing how people can survive in minus 47 degrees. So that is also one of the things that I would like to write about is people do survive. We can survive situations. It is cold and everybody has their own meaning. For some people who have warm houses, it is the best part of the world. But there would be some people for whom it will be very difficult time. But again, this is all that it is. And it is very important that when it is snowing, to step out and enjoy the snow rather than uploading the same on your Instagram, which becomes a very difficult time, especially if you are a content creator. But when you, at any point in time, you want to appreciate the beauty of nature, and if you want to think beyond yourself, just look at the sky, and you'll be surprised how many more reasons you will have to celebrate from this world. And understand, last but not the least, you are not a drop in an ocean, you are ocean in a drop. Over to you, Arushi.
That was beautiful, Abu. And I think something which stuck with me is when you see something beautiful, that craving of picking up your phone, how to stop that? Because I know that there are peacocks which come in and around my house, and one day the peacock was just dancing beautifully. It spread all its wings and it was dancing, and I just stopped in that 1 second. I stopped myself from filming it, and I just enjoyed it. So that was beautifully explained. All right, who do we have next? I won't be able to look at the chat window because I'm presenting.
Azad.
Azad. All right, Azad, are you ready?
Yes, because Abu has nominated me.
Okay. So this is going to be your picture to muse about.
Okay, thank you so much. Rains are always, we can always go back in time and recall those child memories. But in this picture, when I see this girl, especially she's enjoying and the umbrella is down on the earth. So as this is a COVID situation, first I'll go and suggest her to pick up the umbrella and go to home and enjoy the rain with the tea and pakoda, as we were talking about in our last one of the sessions. And I think rain is not only pouring water from the God side upon us. It is also about seeing the nature and character and behavior of the universe. That sometimes it's good to be wet. Sometimes it's good to go out there and enjoy your life instead of thinking about other things. Just forget everything and go and take a bath in the such kind of rain. Also, not able to recall a lot because I'm just enjoying by seeing it. So that's it from my side.
Thank you, Azad. And yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I think these little things in life are precious, and one should treasure and live them when you have that chance to just throw away your umbrella and just enjoy the rain. Of course, I stand by what you said. It's COVID, and she better do that at home on her terrace. So yeah, great insight and a great picture presentation of this image. All right, then who do we have next?
Subhashri.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's me.
Subhashri. Hi, Subhashri. So I'm going to
Hi.
show you your picture.
I'm not really good at poetry, but I'm just going to give it a shot. Okay.
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay. Wow. This reminds me of all the train journeys that I have always loved and still love taking completely. Train journey, I think, is the best way to actually see the city, to see the countryside, and just enjoy the view. It takes me back to back to my childhood memories primarily, when we used to do a lot of train journeys, and not knowing that there can be a flight as well, which takes you to a place in 2 hours. Today, when you can actually do that flight journey, you completely feel that you need those windows, exactly how this image is. Those windows where there is when it rains, it completely has vapors on it, and then you are trying to see what is outside. And then when you have a day's journey during the entire day, during the day you can actually see the outside, And as it goes night, then you can see your own image in it, and you're like, damn, the views are gone, and you try to look for the light. Um, yeah, I think that I have lots of memories with train journeys. And I mean, I think it's also about, I think this is the best time when you have your own musings as well, because you just don't have anything much to think, and you can just brood on anything during this time. So I have loved them, and I hope that we all of us continue to take that amidst all our lives when we are actually having a lot of fights. We do take that time out and just enjoy that train to wherever it goes and wherever it takes us. And I've realized I've not added any poetry to it, but that's about it on my side.
Thank you, Subhashri. You didn't go to the poetry side of it, but so many things that are food for thought. How you
Yeah.
mentioned about during the day it's more picturesque, you're focusing towards nature, but at night, you're just looking at your own reflection. So I think that was really profound. Um, Great. That also gives me my learning for the day. All right. Who's next?
Chef Ali.
All right. Our book review for today. Your image is this.
Shefali, you're there? We can't hear Shefali. There must be some network problem. Can we request Pandi?
No,
Hi,
no,
Pandi. Can you?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, Shefali.
I just can't. I'm not even. Video अभी मैं on नहीं कर रही. Yes. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
Shefali.
Shefali.
So basically, as I can see, this is.
It's an illusion, Shefali. It's an illusion.
Yeah, because because when they are exchanging their places, they're looking huge. So yeah,
Shefali, you can talk about like life is an illusion and something on
yeah,
those lines.
so I think so basically what I get from the picture is, as you said, or I would say in other words, it's about your perspective, maybe the perspective of life. If we like the way they are changing places, so right, like for example, you are seeing the situation from one point of view, and when you change the place, you switch your thought about that particular situation. I mean, you change your perspective. Maybe you can see some better things, you can extract some better things out of those circumstances. So whenever you feel low, or whenever you feel there are certain challenges that are coming across your way, so just switch your place, come change your perspective, as I think that is what I can gather from the picture after giving it a thought, and change your perspective. I think that would be the best line I can say about it.
Bang on, Shefali. I think
Thank
that's
you.
very important, and also is very close to our theme today, which is reflection. And you can only reflect
Yes,
when you step back or look from a different perspective.
correct.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
It's Pandi.
All right. Your image is this.
Yes, good evening, all. This is just, I could imagine they are in happy, they are so happy, and they are on the top of the world. Whatever the worries, whatever the problems, they just forgot everything, and just they are living at this moment. So the entire the galaxy, the stars are shining, and they keep that both of them to they are everything is assisting them to be happy at this moment, and they're living in this moment to be happy. That's all. Thank you.
Right. I completely agree. Just the fact that they're enjoying themselves so much, and the fact that everything around them is so beautiful. But the fact that they can't take eyes off each other means like it's just showing how much in love they are, and the beauty of love and being in the present moment. All right. Who's next?
Gauri.
Gauri, our timer for the day. Your image is
Okay, so it's kind of rays which are joining this both roads. I am not so getting this much, but I love mountains, so I'm just trying to find out mountains where are they. So basically, this is kind of shape, or we can go for that fish. What we do, I actually I'm not recalling that word. And rainbow after raining. So lovely moment after raining the sunshine. So it's kind of I feel that is a new day of life, or new overcoming from my situations, or my hurdles what I'm facing right now. It's a new day. Uh it's showing us something different way. I'm not getting that much. Thank you, Arishay.
all right, Gauri. Yeah, I think, yeah, I didn't put a picture of the hills, but it does incorporate so many things from nature, which is beautiful. There are birds, there's a lot of greenery, there's waterfall, there are birds. I even can hear the birds chirping for some reason just because of this whole setting of the picture. So and there's a little bridge also if you see in that picture, and it's just somewhere you'd like to sit on the bridge, take a book with you, and maybe pack a picnic, and just enjoy this view and day and the fresh air. Yeah, who's next?
Rachit.
Rachit. All right, Rachit, your image is this. Are you there, Rachit?
No, Arushi Rajat is not there.
Ritika, why don't you go ahead and
You can go with the next participant, Richa.
okay, who's our next participant?
We have Richa. Richa, are you there?
Richa?
Richa
So we
happens
have-
to be actually, I've got the name
Oh,
Richa. by mistake.
Anusha. Yes, Anusha, please go for
I
it.
want a new picture, please. Any possibility?
Okay.
Because
Arushi,
I
do we
saw
have
it for a long time.
Another picture?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Okay. Well, illusions, delusions, and solutions all exist together in this beautiful picture, which is there before me. Why did I say illusion? Illusion because the waterfall, which is cascading down, actually seems to be cascading back up too. So that is a pictorial illusion which you have in these kind of pictures, where the water cascading down can give you a visual impression of something cascading up too. And then you have these beautiful butterflies, but birds of a feather flocking together because they're all the same color. And they seem to be flitting out of nowhere, flitting through the water and flitting back out of it. This is actually the picture of Hawaii Sentosa Island. where you see everything of beauty together. Just look at the sky and the horizon, which seems to be moving in a fire-like picture, in a fiery picture, which is moving again to the left. This picture is actually a delusion too, because there is downward and upward movement, there is movement from the left to the right, and there is an emergence of entities right out of nowhere. This is what I've seen in one island in Hawaii. I forget the name, but that is what it reminds me of. And I hope this is an opportunity I get again to visit beauty again. Hawaii Island. Back to you, Kanika.
Wow, Anusha, that was beautiful and it was very poetic. Lovely flow of what you said. I was actually looking at the image as you were talking about it and focusing on the butterflies when you were talking about the butterflies and everything. That was beautiful. Great job. All right, with this, I'd like to end the audience participation round and hand it over to our timer and listener for the day. Gauri, over to you.
Polling first.
Oh, yeah, sure. Can everybody vote, please?
Sarushi, you can continue.
Yes, I'd like to continue by handing it over to Gauri.
Thank you so much, Arushi. So time has begun for the Q&A, question answer session. And I'm going to ask you 2 or 3 questions. Rules are only 1 or 2. First, come on camera, please, so I can see your beautiful faces. Second, you have to raise your hands, don't interrupt. So let's start this. What was the name of book reviewed by Shefali? Funny. Pani, you can answer.
Celebrating music. Yeah, celebrating music. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, music. Celebrating music.
No, Shefali reviewed some book. I'm asking that name.
Okay, this is
Ritika.
It was Memoirs by Kanika.
Wonderful. Ritika is very active and listening every single line. The other question is, what was the advices given by our keynote speaker for writing a poem? So you can tell me 2 or 3 advices. So Ajad, yeah.
You can choose a topic first. I mean, what is the subject matter? And then what to write about that subject matter and how to explain it. And it is not required that it has to be in rhyming. So for writing a poetry, just write.
Right. Anyone want to add in this? So I want to add something. First, choose a topic.
One more.
Yeah,
continue
please.
journey.
Also think from the other's point of view.
Right. Pani, you were saying something?
Continuous journey. Continuous
Continuous journey.
Things keep on going. Continuous journey.
Right. So the main point is review and write. When we are writing the poem, we can review it and rewrite. So how can we improve this? We have to be very interactive and attentive in this session. And now moving forward, we have the time to introduce our new next keynote speaker, Arushi, who is anchoring, and you guys are knowing her till now. So I just want to tell about her some different things. I know you guys all know Arushi. So Arushi Her love for morning stems from her name, which means the first ray of the sun. A certified yoga trainer, she loves to read about nutrition, healthcare, and spirituality. She is on a journey to live more sustainably and has taken baby steps in that direction. Her guilty pleasures include Asian food, gooey chocolates, pastries, and room services at hotels. She is a proud plant parent of 200 and loves talking about her travel escapades. Let's welcome Arushi as our new keynote speaker. Arushi, stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Gauri, for that lovely introduction. All right. So, what am I going to talk about next week? First, I want to ask all of you, how many of you have attended a time management course or a video or read a blog post about it? Yeah, most of you. I believe most of you would have done either or. But don't worry, I'm not going to present my keynote speech on time management. That's not what's going to happen. But why did I ask you that? So time is a limited resource, right? And why do we attend these sessions? We want to make the most of the time we have, make the most of the limited time that we have, and we want to do our best in that limited time, right? So everybody wants the maximum and optimum utilization of the time to get in a healthy diet, exercise, their work, anything else that is important to get done in that day according to your goals or plans, right? So, similarly, wouldn't you want to optimize your everyday activities, your body, to get the best results that that body can provide you? So, you must be wondering, what am I talking about? I'm going to talk about biohacking. Yes, the word is biohacking in my upcoming keynote speech. Now, if you want to know more about biohacking, you will have to come and next week for my keynote session. But I'll just give you a one-liner so that you can reflect on what actually it is. So biohacking is about optimizing your life and your body through the use of technology, biology, holistic research, and personal experiments. So if this sounds interesting to you, please join me next week on Tuesday, 8 to 9 p.m. I will be giving a 20-minute keynote speech, and I look forward to seeing all of you. With that, I would like to hand over to Ritika.
Thank you, Arushi. So first of all, it was a wonderful session by Kanika and Anchor, Arushi, and all the role players. I want to thank all of them. Especially, I would firstly thank Kanika for coming back again, and we would like to have you again and again coming back to our sessions and giving keynote speeches. So she beautifully explained all about poetry and musings. It was wonderful. I would like to thank our anchor Arushi. I always say whenever she speaks, she's very calm and composed, and I want to learn that quality from her. So that was a wonderful job, Arushi. And I would like to thank our timer and listener Gauri. She did ask very good questions to the audience and make sure they were listening. And I cannot change Shefali, but I would like to also thank Shefali for the book review session. I think it is very difficult when the author is sitting in front of them and reviewing her own book. So, but she did a wonderful job. She did explain the whole book in a detailed manner. So kudos to everybody and thank you all for joining. And before we go, let me announce the winner of the audience participation now. It is none other than Anusha. She truly explained the image in a poetic manner. So congratulations, Anusha. And last but not the least, the trend of SDTM and Leaders Are Readers group, the selfie. So I would request everyone to please switch on their cameras. Shifali, can you please switch on your camera if it's possible? I think she won't be able. So let's, who's giving the signature pose? Kanika?
Kanika, you are on mute.
Kanika, you're on mute.
So the pose for the day is something I'm going to probably be soon patenting. It's my favorite pose.
With the pout?
With the pout. Sorry, guys.
Done. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining, and hope to see you all in the next sessions also. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye everyone. Thank you for having us.